Hi all, welcome back to another lecture of DBMS, and in this lecture we will be learning about NoSQL languages. So we have learned about two different databases, SQL and NoSQL. In SQL we follow the schema and structure of the database, but in NoSQL it is not necessary to follow the schema. So to query from the SQL database we write SQL queries, right? And similarly to query data from the NoSQL database we would need some languages which can query those data from the databases. So that comes under the NoSQL languages, and here we will be learning about MongoDB query language, Cassandra query language, then Cyper query language, which we actually use to query data from graph database, and then we learn about Redis common language, and at last we will compare all these four different types of NoSQL query languages. So stay tuned for the video because this video is going to be important and interesting. So let's begin with the very first topic of today's lecture, which is NoSQL languages. So these are designed to interact with various types of NoSQL databases. So basically we write the query to interact with the database. Okay. Now, including key value. So those database can be key value, document store, column family store and graph databases. Regarding which we have already learned in our last lectures. Each NoSQL language is tailored to the specific data model and use case of its corresponding database technology. So we know that in NoSQL database, we can store multiple different types of structure. So similarly, for different type of structures data, we need different type of query languages also to retrieve, right? So hence, for key value, for document store, column family and graph databases, we write different NoSQL languages to retrieve or get the data. First is MongoDB query language. So for interacting with MongoDB to perform complex query and aggregations on JSON-like documents. So when we have stored our data in NoSQL database and that data type is JSON-like document, then to query that those data, we need MongoDB query language. Then next is Cassandra. So designed for Apache Cassandra and resembles SQL but tailored for white column data. So in last lecture we have learned about white column data. It is similar to SQL, but the only difference is that in SQL every row should have equal number of columns, but in case of Cassandra, which is in case of white column data, for every row same number of columns are not necessary to be equal. Okay, so for that we use Cassandra query language. Next is Cyper. So Cyper is type of query language which we use to retrieve data from graph type of database. So when we have stored our complex relationships of data in a graph type of database, then we need Cyper for Neo4j type. Like basically we need the Cyper query language to retrieve the data from the graph database. Next is Redis command language, and this we need for high speed data retrieval and manipulation. So when we need the data retrieval to be fast or manipulations to be fast, we go for Redis command languages, and basically we operate on different strings. Like Redis database operates on different string hashes, list and sets basically. Okay, so these are the basic different four types of NoSQL languages, and we will be learning about each type in detail one by one. So let's start. First is MongoDB query language. So MongoDB query language, we know that we apply to retrieve data from those type of data which are JSON or document type. Okay. So it allows developers to retrieve, manipulate and manage data stored in the form of JSON-like document, making it well suited for applications that require dynamic and scalable data management. So we will be also learning along with the definitions of the different types of NoSQL databases, which we will be also learning about how to basically write the query in that language. So MongoDB query language operates on document. Remember that we operate this language, MongoDB language, on document type of data that are stored in collections which are similar to tables in relational database. Like how in SQL the relational database means like every row and every column, right? So in MongoDB, in NoSQL MongoDB, we talk here about the document. So in the SQL, if we are storing data like name, age and phone number, so this is how we will store in SQL, right? But in case of MongoDB, how we will store? like this. We will give name, okay, then we will give age, and then we will give phone number, okay, and now closing bracket. This is how the MongoDB stores the data, right? Each document in MongoDB can have a different structure, allowing for more flexible data model. So in each document, like each document in the MongoDB can have different structure. Means if we have one document as name and age, okay, so one. Another entry might include name, age, phone number, address, and all. So you can see each entry can have different type of basically each entry have different structure. So in the first entry we have only name and age, another entry we have age, name, phone, and address as well. So this is what it allows, different structures. Now queries target specific fields within documents, making it intuitive for developers working like JSON. So it basically focuses on particular or specific fields to fetch the data. And also it supports various types of indexes, single field, compound, geospatial, and text index, which improve query performance. So basically here also indexing is allowed, and we can try fetching the data on the basis of indexing as well, and geospatial as well. What is geospatial? We'll be learning in the last lecture of this video. Okay, so we'll be learning about this. So basically MyQuery also supports that indexing format, which actually makes the retrieval very fast. So this is how we actually query the data. So to query on the basis of passenger name, this is how we search in our bookings table. So DB, we will do db.bookings. Bookings is nothing but table name, and then we will do find. What operation we want? Find. On what parameter we want to find? Passenger name Raj. Okay, so it will give the document saved for the passenger name Raj. Second, if we want to do some aggregations on count number of bookings per train, so how it will work? So we will say db.booking. So basically in bookings table we want to aggregate. Now what you want to aggregate? Group. We want to make a group of ID, train ID, and total bookings. So basically you want total bookings as a group, where you will count the number of, like, sum of all the bookings being done as per the train ID, and at last you want to sort those total bookings in descending order. -1 means descending order. So this is how your table will look like. So let's suppose if for 101 train ID you have booking 1, right? For 101 you have again one booking, 103 you have one booking, 100 you have one booking, right? So when you will sort it, this is how your your table will look like: train ID and total bookings. So for 100, so again it is in descending order according to total bookings. So if you will count for 101, we have 2 bookings, right? So 101 we have 2 bookings, so this will be in sorting descending order. Then 103 or 100, no matter, both have 1 descend and 1 total booking. So this is how your final table will look like, and this is how we query in MongoDB database. Okay. Next is Cassandra query language. So it is used to interact with Apache Cassandra, and it is very similar to SQL in syntax, but only difference is structured. Like, structure is different because in SQL language every row should have the same number of column, but in Cassandra, which is basically the wide column family, it does not specifically forced to do or to maintain such thing. For every row the number of columns might differ, and we save the data in a column family wise, right? Like we will give column 1, column 2, and column 3 for one row. Okay, so column 1 may we are saving name, column 2 may we are saving age, and then we are saving address, right? For another row it might happen that we are only saving name, or you can say age, that's it. For row 3 it might happen that we have four number of columns. So that's what number of columns are can be different for each row. That's why it's a column family. So it's Cassandra. The main difference between SQL and SQL is this. Now a column family in Cassandra is similar to table, but it stores data as a collection of rows with flexible schema. That's what schema is: flexible, number of columns might vary, meaning that each row doesn't necessarily have to store the same columns. SQL is inspired by SQL, making it easier for developers with SQL experience to pick up. So it is similar, it is inspired by SQL. So SQL is inspired by SQL, means follows everything for SQL. But the main difference, one more difference with Cassandra, basically SQL, is that it supports eventual consistent write and read operations, means it more focuses on availability than consistency, what we have already learned the key features about the NoSQL database. So Cassandra is similar in look wise, it is similar to SQL, but it allows eventually consistent, means in between soft states can be there, like the final data update will be done after some time. Okay. Now it supports essential SQL or SQL operations such as select, update, insert, delete, but with specific nuances. So basically, like how we have some certain operations in SQL, these operations are also satisfied and followed by Cassandra query language. So here, this is how we actually query bookings by train ID. We'll select all from bookings where train ID is this. This is similar to SQL language, right? But here's the difference: when we are creating a table bookings name, right? So this is how we actually do booking ID, train ID, passenger of type text, and booking date of type date. So here you can see this is UUID. Basically, it is like a unique ID, right? So instead of giving it of type integer, we have this UUID in this SQL, which actually automatically increases and gives the unique ID to every rows, right? So these are the basic difference between SQL and SQL language. Now next is Cyper query language. So it is a declarative query language used in Neo4j and a popular graph database. So to query the data from the graph database, we follow Cyper query language. It is designed to work efficiently with graph data. Basically, it is only designed to work with graph data, where entities are stored as nodes and relationships as edges. So we know graph database, how it looks like, that we will be having this circular thing is nothing but entities, this is tables, and this edge shows the relationship between those tables, right? So Cyper query language we basically use to work with the graph database. It also allows for expressive and intuitive query, making it easier to manipulate graph data without requiring complex join operations like in SQL. So it allows without operating complex join. It basically allows the expressive and intuitive queries, which actually makes that query executions very simpler and very easy. Okay, so this is how we actually create a table in graph database using Cyper query language. So we'll say create. Okay, and whatever inside this small bracket will come the will include the entities, and anything with hyphen or this arrow will represent the relationship. So the core Cyper is its pattern matching syntax, where all nodes and relationships are represented by sky art like symbols. Okay, so here you can see this these symbols we represent. So nodes are enclosed in parentheses and relationships are represented by hyphen or the arrow between nodes, making it visually intuitive to understand. Similar to SQL, we have Cyper, which is declarative language, where the user specify what data to retrieve, not how to retrieve it. So basically, with the Cyper query language, it is similar to SQL, where we do not need to specify how to retrieve data, but instead we focus on what to retrieve. So here, how we create a table? So we'll give the command create, and the table name, so T basically for the instance name, and train name, table name train, having train ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and name Rajdhani Express and source Delhi, destination Mumbai. So one table has been created with all these four. Okay, sorry, this is graph database, right? So we can't store like this. Okay, so in a entity node we have all those things. Train table is there with all the parameters. Now next is creating relationships. So how we actually create relationships? So we will create two entities, right? Train and booking, passenger, and then we will create the relationship between these two. Okay, now so how we will create? We will say match. So match is basically to create the relationship between those two entities. So we'll give train name. So on what two entities we want to make relationship? Train and passenger. So train name with train ID 1235, we want to make relation with passenger table having name Anjali. Okay. So passenger name and train, we want to make the relationship. But now your task is to name the relationship, like what type of relationship it should be. So create P means passenger table and train table, and in between that the relationship will be booked. So we have made the relationship between the train entity and the passenger entity, and the relationship is called booked. Okay. Query on the basis of train ID. So now if we want to query on the basis of train ID, where train ID and passenger are related with the relationship booked. Now how we will query? See, we'll say match P passenger, because P is nothing but the instance for the passenger table, and we are saying the booked relationship with the booked relationship in train table having train ID. This we want P name means passenger name. So output will be Anjali. So this is how we actually query in the Cyper query language, which is basically being used for query the data from the graph database. Okay. So this was all about query, Cyper query language. Now let's move on to our last type of NoSQL language, which is Redis command. Redis command, yeah. So Redis is a NoSQL in-memory data store used a key value store capable of handling complex data structure like list, set, sorted set, and hashes. So Redis command we actually basically used in-memory data store. What is in-memory data store we'll be learning in our upcoming slide. So this is a type of in-memory data store where it is used to keep key value stored capable of handling complex. So here even if we are storing the data in a key value type, but those key will be unique for sure, and value can be the complex data structure like list, set, stored, sorted sets, and hashes, right? Redis commands are used to manipulate, retrieve data stored in the database in various formats with operations designed to extremely fast retrieve memory nature. So this Redis command we actually use to for the faster retrieval of the complex data. But why it is faster? Because it stores the data in memory instead of saving the data in the real actual hard disks. That is why saving in memory, basically the cloud and all. So saving in memory RAM. Saving in RAM or saving in cloud basically helps to fetch or data retrieval to be very fast compared to saving in disk. So we'll be learning about this in-memory data store in our upcoming slide. So as of now, just understand Redis command we actually use to for the faster query, especially in the more complex data bases. It also provides pub/subs, means publish and subscribe messaging, which allows different applications or services to communicate via message channels. Commands like publish, subscribe, and unsubscribe help us to handle real-time data message delivery. So it also helps in querying pub/sub type of model, basically the real chatbot systems like WhatsApp you can say. So Redis command are simple and straightforward, such as set, get, delete. For delete we use del, for getting or setting we use set and get, and exists to just check if the data if the data is already there, to retrieve, delete, and check the existence of the key efficiently. So how we actually store train availability information? So we will say set, okay, train with train ID 101, name Rajdhani, and Delhi to Mumbai, source to destination. Now we want to set seats. So set seats, train ID this, and set 12 number of seats are allotted for the train Rajdhani Express. Now we want to list all the booked trains using Redis list. So this is how we will do. But along with that, if you want to add more trains, okay, so as of now, how many trains we have? So we have train ID 101, right? Then we have Rajdhani Express, and we have set the seat also, let's suppose 12. Okay. Now if L push booked trains, so we want to basically push, left push means instead of adding the table name down, we will be left pushing. So this basically means we will be inserting the more new rows on the very front line. Okay. So we are giving one more train, okay, having the train ID 103 and train name Duranto. So train ID 103, train name Duranto, right? So as it is L push, so instead of this, it will go in the first line. Okay. Now we want to arrange booked trains from 0 to -1. So 0 means from starting and -1 till end. Okay. So at final, our data will look like train ID 103 because it was left push, right? So it will go up Duranto, and train ID 101 Rajdhani. So This is how our final output will look like. Okay, so this was about the Redis query language, Redis commands, which basically being used to to retrieve the data which are being saved as key and value pair, where value can be more complex data structure like set, sorted sets and all. And also it allows a pub sub model where basically the real chatbot system, how it actually works. Okay, this was all about Redis command. Now let's learn and end the session by seeing the main differences. So if we'll talk about data model, MongoDB saves the document like JSON like documents, and Cassandra basically is a column family model and similar to SQL, sorry. Next is Cyper. Cyper basically is used to, retrieve data from a graph type of database, and Redis command is basically used to retrieve data which are being saved in key value format, but the value are more complex type of more complex data types. Next is query structure. So basically in MongoDB we target fields within document like JSON like syntax, and in Cassandra we use select, insert and all similar to SQL. Cyper, we use pattern matching, like how Cyper basically for graph, right? So how we actually create the node and how we actually implement the relationship between those nodes by using match operator. Redis command is a schema-less, so it stores data in the key value pair. Schema flexibility, MongoDB have high flexibility. It's not necessary for every data entry to follow the same schema. Cassandra, it will be less schema-less, so flexible rows in column families. In Cyper, this fixed schema for nodes and relationships. So in graph, in Cyper, the schema will be fixed, and in Redis, schema again it will be schema-less because it is saving the data in key value pair. If we'll talk about indexing things, in MongoDB, single field compound geospatial text indexes are allowed. In Cassandra, supports indexing on columns. So like how in SQL we can imply the indexing thing, right, on a single column. Let's suppose train ID, if you want to index it in SQL, here similarly we can do for SQL also. So it supports indexing. In case of Cyper, it supports indexes on nodes and relationships both. Okay, in Redis, no indexing beyond key value, key based lookups. So we have key value pair where key are already unique, so no need to apply any indexing here. Performance, MongoDB is optimized with indexes, so suited for dynamic queries because indexing are allowed, so it will be high. Now in Cassandra, optimized for wide column and distributed clusters. In case of Cyper, optimized for traversing graph because already indexes are allowed here. And in case of Redis, without indexing also, it is very fast due to the in-memory storage, because here we are not saving data on disk. Instead, we are saving on RAM. So retrieval is very fast. Use cases, if we will talk about, in e-commerce content management, we use MongoDB. For Cassandra is high availability, especially because of the distributed data systems. Okay. So even if some failure happens, our other servers are there too for the data retrievals. Right. In Cyper, we actually use for social network and recommendation systems. So that is why graph is being used, nearest friend following list and all those things. So it stores the data and it gives you the result on that basis. That's why it stores the data in graph. Okay. Redis command, real-time data caching session storage. So basically it saves the data in, the memory instead of saving it in disk. So that's why retrieval is very fast, and that is why it's being used in those use cases where the real-time data management is required, that is session management and caching. So that was a basic different types of NoSQL query languages, how we use these languages to retrieve the data from which are already saved in different formats. And that was all about it. I hope you learned. Now let's meet in another lecture. Till then, keep learning. Take care of yourself and your family too.